I call this meeting to order. I'll begin by taking a roll call. Members, please confirm your attendance when I call your name. Vince Marcotte. Here. Maria Ferraro.
Present.
Valentina Bernoni. Here. Jim Boscario. Here. Christina Bursick, Manager of Planning and Development.
Here.
Alan Burgess, Supervisor of Planning and Development.
Here.
And Ryan Tufts, Planning Technician and Secretary Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment.
Here.
And I am your chair, Teresa Nicodemo. I'll begin by reading the land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is in the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation of the Three Fires Confederacy and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron, Wendat, and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced the stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. And second, the appeal notice. As a result of the provincial changes to the Planning Act, only the applicant and select agencies may appeal a decision of the committee or one or more of the conditions which were imposed. Third-party appeals of consent and or minor variances, such as neighbors abutting property owners, are no longer allowed to be accepted by the OLT. All applications continue to be subject to a 20-day appeal period. A written request to receive a copy of the decision and a fee for filing an appeal may be obtained from the Secretary Treasurer. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, so noted. Adoption of the minutes from the April 17, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion? Moved by Maria, seconded by Vince Marcotte. All in favor? That's everyone, as carried. Mr. Tufts, are there any requests for deferral or withdrawal of any applications?
None received.
So noted. First application for consideration is A-04, 2024 file 4182. The owner is Suburban Construction. The location is 1740 Orford Street. A minor variance for a reduced front yard setback for a proposed apartment-style building. Mr. Tufts to make a presentation of the application.
Okay, so we have a minor variance application for reduced front yard setback on Orford Street. Next slide. The property is designated town center in the town's official plan and is zoned a town center 1 holding and a town center zone 2 in the town's zoning bylaw. Next slide. This is a site plan that was provided by the applicant. It shows the red line is the current bylaw and the green line underneath it would be where the proposed variance is for the front yard setback. Next slide. The reason why they're looking at the reduction in the front yard setback is due to the limited lot depth. The setback is being measured from outdoor amenity space, which is either the patio or a balcony, and the development represents an appropriate redevelopment of the subject lands. Next slide. Should the application be approved, we would recommend that they remove the holding zone from the subject lands and that they enter into a site plan control agreement with the town, and they have 2 years from today.
Thank you. Christian Lefebvre, the owner agent present?
I am, yes.
Yeah, is he online? Okay.
I am, yep.
Okay, thank you. You may now speak to the matter. Please introduce yourself in a brief explanation of your application, and please confirm you have read and understood the staff report.
Sure. Christian Lefebvre, president of Suburban Construction, Brado Development Corporation. As Ryan mentioned, we're just looking for front yard setback relief, I should say. So our building's going to fit on the property here and give us the allowable space and needed space in the back for sidewalk and parking, as well as a landscape buffer of 1.5 meters in the back. Other than that, I don't have any comments. I'm here for any questions, but I do agree with the staff report and recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone present or online who wants to speak to the application? I don't, and none noted. Oh, Gary Baxter, my apologies. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. I wanted to attend today really to express a concern about the scale of development. I really don't have an issue with the long-term plans insofar as town center designation. My concern would be for the existing neighbors, specifically the neighbor next to this proposed building. It essentially would be blocked from the sun by this building being on the east, and also now pushing the building further towards the road. You essentially are going to destroy those people's way of life as they have known it. So that, to me, is something that ought to be looked at. You do have a set of guidelines for developing in this area now, and I would suggest that at the very least you adhere to the guidelines that have been set. Otherwise, you're indicating that perhaps the guidelines are no longer appropriate or adequate. So again, just looking at neighbors who are there now, have been there for decades, and now to have this going in on top of them, 3 stories looking down on a 1-story home, essentially feet away, it doesn't allow for a decent quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baxter. However, and I thank you for your comments. However, this meeting is regarding the consent variance of this property. Should you have any questions or comments that are not related to this consent, which they aren't, and I really apologize for that, you can speak with planning staff during business hours.
Pushing the building closer to the road is the concern, and I think that's what you're dealing with tonight.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions for, regarding, for either Mr. Lefebvre, or we'll begin with that. Anyone have questions for the agent or the owner? Committee members have any? Yes, Maria?
How close will the new structure be to the road?
Through your chair, the site plan that's before us this evening has a measurement of the front yard setback is 3 meters, and so you're going from 3 meters to 2.6 meters. So it's a difference of 0.4 of a meter. And the majority of the building which is being proposed, that's before you in the second figure, shows that basically it's the projection of the proposed balconies, which are actually going to be going into the front yard setback. The primary building, as it's currently designed, unfortunately, they haven't provided a dimension, but I would suggest to you that it's a very small amount that is actually in front of the proposed, or the setback as it was suggested through the zoning bylaw. It should also be noted that basically this entire area will redevelop. It's intended over time that all of the single-family homes will be redeveloped as basically buildings of this nature or of a similar nature. So the issues with regards to compatibility are being addressed as a result of redevelopment. So unfortunately, the existing homes, as nice as they are and in the locations that they were selected for as a residential development, are no longer appropriate in a town center. This area is to be basically the center for development for the town of LaSalle. It'll have higher densities, and that's why the buildings are permitted to move forward onto these properties. And like I said, over time, those individual homes will be redeveloped and they'll no longer be left in these positions.
With the.
Ryan, if I might, sorry, Ryan, might I add something, Ryan?
Yes, yes, go ahead, thank you.
Ryan, I'm not sure if you're able to pull up a Google image, but whether my variance is approved or not, even the permitted location of my building is farther in front than the existing dwelling to the west. If you understand what I'm kind of getting at there.
So,
Ms.
so
Christina?
if I may, correct, so because of the current zoning for the area, the zoning would accommodate the building being set further, or sorry, closer to the road than what the existing single-family homes in the area currently are set back to because of the updated zoning that's occurred in the area, again, because of the notion of this is town center district, and as such, it's zoned. And I do also just want to add and further clarify that, you know, this site, the building that Mr. Lefebvre wishes to construct here is under site plan control. So the various factors regarding parking, the height and everything else is under review under site plan. The matter before us today is because the request is to build a little bit closer to the municipal right-of-way than what is currently permitted at this time in our zoning bylaw. And that was shown in the site plan that was up on the screen. I think it was the red line. Maybe even we can go back to that if possible. The red line shows what the current zoning permits the building to be built up to. And the green line, thank you, the green line shows what he's looking to, how he's looking to place the building a little bit closer to the road than what's permitted. So again, he will still be closer to the road than the existing homes along Orford are today.
Mr. Baxter, does that answer your question? Yes.
In reading the handout, it's indicated that the setback, prescribed setback is 4.5 meters. This application is to go to 2.3 meters. It's a 50% reduction.
Maria, you have a question?
I'm old school. 2.3 meters, that would be approximately 7 feet. Is that correct? 7.5 feet from the road? It does seem
7.5 feet to the property line,
to the property line.
not
Okay.
the road.
Are there concerns about safety, about privacy, being so close to the road? I mean, I know we talked about how it visually impacts the neighboring properties. And I understand there will be more development coming, and the new development will be closer to the road with the new zoning regulations. But it just seems like it'll get busier, right? The road will get busier, and there's safety concerns and privacy with the tenants.
I just add that in the town center, in the TC1 zone, we allow a 0 lot line for a front yard setback. And in this particular zone, we've set these buildings back, in this case, the 4.5 meters. And the intent was to create some setback, but as we've reviewed this site in particular, and we've reviewed the building which is being proposed, it's not felt that it will have an adverse impact, especially in the case of the way which the building was designed, it's the projection of the patios that is going out to that proposed relief. It's not the entire building. It's only a very small portion of the balance of the building that actually projects beyond the original lot, or the original front yard setback.
Okay,
Jim
thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Jim Buscarro, have a question?
Yes, thank you. Are we to assume, or the main wall of the building is what I'm after here? Do we have a definite measurement of where the main wall, separate from the balconies, is?
Christian, do you have a measurement of that?
We don't, because we're just in the site plan. We don't have the full architectural drawings, right? So this is kind of a module worked off of our last building there at 1740 Sprucewood, which I think again has, I think, almost a zero lot line, right? And that's on Sprucewood. But I don't have that exact, that number, no.
Okay, I'm just concerned that with this variance, is it specifically just for the balconies? Or does it give him, or give the developer permission to make a flat wall right along that, the variance line?
The current relief that's been applied for applies to the entirety of the building. It's not just the balconies.
Okay,
But based on the sketch that we have before you, that's where we're giving you the explanation from.
okay. And it is, as mentioned, going through site plan control then? Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
We have other similar developments.
That is correct. On Sprucewood, actually, the gentleman before us this evening is currently developing the Sprucewood LA Suites development, and they have commercial units that are along the front face of that property, and those units are down to, I believe, less than a meter setback along those particular units. And then they're also going to be building additional units at the rear of their building, and their balconies will be, and I'm trying to go off memory, maybe Christian might be able to help me. I believe it's within less than 1.5 meters to 2 meters from the patio, or from their grade patios to the parking lots. So there'll actually be a walkway which will be directly beside their patios throughout the rear of their building.
So in the town's overall picture, buildings of this nature moving to those locations have not deemed to be a concern.
Based on the official plan and the perspective of where we see the town center developing, we do not feel that there's an issue with the location as it's being proposed.
Are there any other questions for administration or any other comments at this time? Having heard any comments or concerns made by administration, agencies, and the public, is the committee ready to make a decision for file number 4182 as per the recommendations? Is there a motion? Moved by Vince Marcotte. As per the recommendation, yes, Vince, yes. And seconded by Valentina, and all in favor? And any opposed? That's everyone, and that is carried. Right, thank you, Mr. Lefebvre. Your application has been approved. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Very much,
Baxter, for
everyone.
coming.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. The next application is A-05, 2024, file 4183. The owner is Timberland General Contractors, and the address is 5185 Val Lane, and the application is for a minor variance for a reduced exterior side yard from 3 meters to 2.4 meters. Mr. Tufts to make a presentation on the severance application.
Okay, so we have a minor variance application for reduced exterior side yard for a proposed semi-detached dwelling on Val Lane. Next slide. The subject land is designated residential district in the town's official plan and is zoned residential 2 in the town's zoning bylaw. Next slide. This slide shows a site plan that was provided by the applicant. The red box shows the proposed reduction in exterior side yard, so it's actually just the corner of the building that is going to be encroaching into the exterior side yard. Next slide. So again, this will facilitate the construction of a semi-detached dwelling, and we have not received any comments or concerns from the neighbors. Next slide. And should the application be approved, we have no conditions.
Okay, thank you. Carrie Maddy, the agent, you may now speak to the matter. Please introduce yourself and a brief explanation of your application, and please confirm you have read and understood the staff report.
Hi, my name is Carrie Mady. I represent Timberland Homes. We're seeking relief from the minimum side yard requirement of 3 meters. The back corner of the building that Ryan just showed you would encroach into the side yard by 0.57 meters. We gave the developer the sizes that we needed for the townhomes that we're building, but on this particular lot, the back corner clips the side yard. Because of this, we're looking for a reduced exterior side yard from 3 meters to 2.43 meters, and I've read and accepted the staff report.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone present or online who'd like to speak to the application? Okay. Does the committee members have any questions of the owner or the agent? Committee members have any questions of administration? Okay. Having heard any comments or concerns made by administration, agencies, and the public, is committee ready to make a decision? Is there a motion for file 4183? Moved by Jim, seconded by Valentina. All in favor? That's okay. All in favor. That's everyone's carried. Thank you very much for coming in. Bye-bye. Next is file B-04, 2024, file 4181. The owner is Tom Tudalais. The address is 1407 Stewart Avenue. It's an application for consent to create 3 new lots fronting on Stewart Avenue for the construction of 2 semi-detached dwellings. Mr. Tufts, make a presentation on the severance application.
Okay, we have a consent application on Stewart Avenue to create 3 new lots that will facilitate the construction of 4 semi-detached dwellings. Next slide. The property is designated residential district in the town's official plan and zoned residential 1 in the town's zoning bylaw. Next slide. This slide shows the draft survey that was provided by the applicant and shows the 4 proposed lots. Next slide. Again, as a result of this severance, 2 semi-detached dwellings will be constructed over the proposed 4 lots. And the subject lands are zoned residential 1, and singles and semis are permitted in the R1 zone. Next slide. Should the application be approved, we would recommend, or we would require a survey that all property taxes be paid in full, that a cash in lieu of parkland dedication of $750 per lot be paid to the town, that the applicants submit updated lot grading sheets, that they submit as-built plans, they obtain a right-of-way permit from our Public Works Department, they provide all easements and dedications to the town, and they provide a financial security that's satisfactory to the town to ensure the installation of the services, and that they have 2 years from today's date to fulfill the above.
Thank you. Mr. Tudalais, the owner. Okay, thank you. You may now speak to the matter. Please introduce yourself and a brief explanation of your application, and please confirm you have read and understood the staff report.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you, through you to the committee and to administration. Thank you for hearing this application today. As mentioned in the administration report, the purpose here is to create 4 detached parts to accommodate 2 semi-detached dwellings at the current location. I have read and concur with the recommendation of administration's report. Thank you.
Is anyone present or anyone online who'd like to speak to the matter? Does the committee members have any questions of the owner? Does the committee member have any questions of administration? Having heard any comments or concerns made by administration, agencies, and the public, is committee ready to make a decision for file number 4181 as per the 8 recommendations? Is there a motion? Moved by Maria, seconded by Vince. All in favor? That's everyone, and that's carried. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. It's been approved. Thank you. Next is file B-07, 2024, file 4184. The owner is Top Investment and Sinva Construction at 307 Sacred Heart. Application for consent to create 1 new lot fronting on Sacred Heart Drive. Mr. Tuff to make a presentation on the severance application.
Okay, so we have a consent application to create 1 new lot fronting on Stewart, or on Sacred Heart Drive. Next slide. The subject land is designated residential district in the town's official plan and zoned residential 1 in the town's zoning bylaw. Next slide. This site plan shows the 1 new proposed lots, both at the 16.2 meters. Next slide. As a result of this severance, 1 new lot will be created. The subject lands are zoned residential 1, and singles and semis are permitted in the residential 1 zone. Next slide. Should the application be approved, we have the following conditions: that they provide a survey, they pay all of property taxes, cash in lieu of parkland, $750 per lot. They submit updated lot grading sheets and as-built, and obtain a right-of-way permit from the town's Public Works Department. They provide all easements and dedications pertaining to the subject lands. They provide a financial security satisfactory to the town to perform the work, and that they obtain a demolition permit from the town's building department for the existing home. And they would have 2 years from today's date to fulfill the conditions.
Okay, thank you. Feng Ho Zhang, the agent, are you online? Yes, thank you. You may now speak to the matter. Please introduce yourself in a brief explanation of your application, and please confirm you have read and understood the staff report.
Oh, yes, thank you for inviting me to the hearing. And I'm the friend of the owner. I'm also an agent to represent them. And actually, we just want to sever this 1 lot to 2 lots. This existing lot, the frontage is around 106 feet, and the depth is 100 feet. So that's all we want to do right now. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Is anyone online who would like to speak to the application? Does the committee have any questions for the owner, for Mr. Zhang? Yes, Maria?
Yes, thank you. That particular corner, Michigan at Sacred Heart, is a busy school crossing zone. Are there plans for pedestrian safety or traffic calming, like specifically during the construction, specifically during the time that the school, like, the students will be crossing, like 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon?
Yes, I think cause we just our proposal is for the low density residential house. So I believe like when we doing construction, we will put enough fence for that to prevent every school student. And when we finish all the construction, I think it won't influence the traffic and it won't influence the traffic too much, I think. Yeah. Because it's not a condo.
Yes, Madam Chair, if I may add, you know, whenever an individual pulls a building permit, you know, there are parameters in which they need to be upheld to, you know, for instance, you know, any dirt or debris or whatnot onto the municipal right-of-way or onto their neighbor's property or whatever, that is their responsibility to take care of and or eliminate completely. And so during construction, while that permit is active, the person building or whatnot, and the owner is responsible for maintaining the property and any, you know, effects that it may have on the neighboring area. Of course, if there's a reason for possibly road closure or whatnot, then they'll obviously be in communication with the town and will, you know, act accordingly. If for some reason, of course, a road is closed without permission or something of that sort, then of course it's up to neighbors or citizens or whatnot to phone the town and inform us so we can take action accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Maria, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Sir, could you one more time confirm your name, the agent?
Oh, Fangzhou Zhang.
Fan Zhou Zhao. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So any other questions for the agent or for administration? Having heard any comments or concerns made by administration, agencies, and the public, is the committee ready to make a decision? And is there a motion for file 4184 as per the 10 recommendations? Okay, moved by Jim and seconded by Valentina, and all in favor? That's everyone, and that is carried. Thank you, your application has been approved. Mr. Zhang, thank you. Date of the next meeting is June 19, 2024. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Maria, seconded by Vince, and all in favor? And that is carried. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.